All right, ready to dive into Switzerland. This deep dive is all about that first trip, from the can't-miss spots to some under-the-radar gems. And the best part, we're doing it all on a budget, because Switzerland doesn't have to break the bank.
And you know what's really cool about Switzerland is that it truly caters to everyone. You could be looking for outdoor adventure, a chill city break, a cultural experience. You name it, you'll find it there.
So first things first, right?
Yeah.
When should we actually book that flight and head over to Switzerland?
Well, you can visit Switzerland any time of year, but for the best weather and fewer crowds, spring and autumn are ideal. Think about those mild temperatures, colorful foliage in the fall, perfect for exploring cities and towns, doing some hiking.
Okay, that sounds pretty idyllic. But what if, like, you're all about the adrenaline rush and want to tackle the Swiss Alps?
Summer's your time. That's when all the hiking trails are open, those mountain passes are clear. You could go whitewater rafting, paragliding, even canyoning.
All right, so we've got summer and shoulder season down. What about the cozy winter vibes?
Winter in Switzerland is like straight out of a fairy tale. Picture snow-covered villages, those Christmas markets, and of course, world-class skiing and snowboarding. Just be aware that the winter wonderland experience does come with a slightly higher price tag.
Fair enough. So now that we know when to go, let's get into the where. We've put together a 7-day itinerary that covers all the highlights, still keeping that budget in mind. Ready to explore.
Let's do it. Let's start in Zurich.
Day 1 and 2. Zurich. We land in Zurich, a city that blends history and modern vibes so well. And forget those pricey taxis, we're hopping on that super efficient public transport, a quick train ride, and boom, we're in the heart of the city.
The old town called Altstadt is a must-see. It's more than just pretty cobblestone streets and colorful buildings, though. It's like stepping back in time. Some of those buildings are from the Middle Ages.
Wow, I had no idea. Okay, I'm already picturing myself strolling through those narrow alleys, finding hidden courtyards, soaking it all in. What else should we check out in Zurich?
Well, Bahnhofstrasse is a must. It's Zurich's famous shopping street. Even if you're on a budget, window shopping is free, right? It's a cool way to see the city's more glamorous side. But for something really special and budget-friendly, take a walk along the Limmat River. They have street food stalls there selling amazing Swiss sausages, perfect for when you need to refuel.
Okay, that's my kind of sightseeing.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard those boat tours on Lake Zurich are incredible, worth it. And more importantly, can we fit them into our budget?
Totally worth it. And yes, you can definitely do it on a budget. Skip those fancy tourist boats and hop on one of the public ferries that go across the lake, way cheaper, and the views are just as good. You see the city skyline, the mountains. It's beautiful.
Right, I'm in. Now, I feel like no trip to Switzerland is complete without, like, really diving into the history and culture, right? What's a must-visit museum in Zurich?
If you want a deep dive into Switzerland's past, the Swiss National Museum is the place to go. It takes you through Swiss history from prehistoric times all the way to today. And here's a little secret. Most museums in Switzerland are free on Sundays. So plan accordingly, save a few francs.
Oh, I love a good freebie. Speaking of saving money, where should we be looking to stay in Zurich that won't break the bank?
Instead of those expensive city center hotels, think about staying just outside the city. In neighborhoods like Wiedekon or Aussersill, they have a more local feel, and you can find affordable guest houses or Airbnbs there. Plus, Zurich's public transport is so good, it's easy to get back and forth to the city center.
That's a great tip. Okay, so we've explored the Altstadt, strolled down Bahnhofstrasse, taken a scenic ferry ride on Lake Zurich, and maybe even learned a thing or two at the Swiss National Museum. What about dinner? What's on the menu in Zurich?
Zurich is a great chance to have some authentic Swiss food without spending a ton. And I'm not just talking fondue and raclette, though those are a must-try too.
Come on, you can't mention Swiss food and not talk about fondue and raclette.
You're right, they're classics for a reason. But for a really local experience, find a traditional Bais. These are cozy, usually family-run pubs that serve hearty Swiss dishes at really good prices.
Bais. Okay, that's going on my list. What kind of dishes can I expect to find there?
How about a steaming bowl of Zürcher Geschnetzeltes? It's a classic Zurich dish. Sliced veal in a creamy mushroom sauce served with Ruski, which is like a Swiss version of hash browns. It's so comforting and a total steal compared to those fancy tourist traps.
Okay, I'm officially starving. Zurich sounds amazing, but I'm ready for our next stop. Where are we headed to next?
From Zurich, we're taking a train to Lucerne, a city right on the shores of a beautiful lake surrounded by stunning mountain scenery. And remember, we're taking the train not just because it's efficient and scenic, but because it's going to save us so much money compared to renting a car.
Yeah, the Swiss train system is legendary. I can't wait to experience it myself.
Yeah.
So Lucerne, tell me more. What's in store for days 3 and 4 of our Swiss adventure?
Lucerne is all about fairy tale charm. Think medieval Old Town, a picturesque chapel bridge, and views that'll just take your breath away. Lucerne is like stepping into a postcard, honestly. The Old Town is just a maze of narrow streets, and they're lined with these colorful buildings. A lot of them even have frescoes on them. You could easily spend hours just wandering around, soaking up the atmosphere.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the Chapel Bridge earlier. What's so special about that?
Well, it's not just any bridge. It's the oldest covered wooden bridge in all of Europe. It dates all the way back to the 14th century. And what makes it really unique are the paintings on the inside. They show scenes from Lucerne's history, some local legends too. It's almost like walking through an art gallery while you're crossing a bridge.
That's incredible. I can't believe I almost missed that. So we've got the charming Old Town, the historic Chapel Bridge. What else should we add to our Lucerne must-do list?
For those epic mountain views, a trip up Mount Pilatus is a must. You can take a gondola and cable car to the top. But here's a tip for budget travelers. Hike it. There are some well-marked trails to the summit, and honestly, the views along the way are just as amazing as the ones from the top. Plus, you get a good workout and save some money.
I love that idea. Exercise and breathtaking views, sign me up. But let's be real, not everyone's up for a mountain hike. Are there other ways to experience the natural beauty around Lucerne?
Absolutely. Lucerne is right on a lake, Lake Lucerne, and it's stunning. A boat trip is the perfect way to really see the scenery, get a different perspective of the city. And guess what? If you have the Swiss Travel Pass, a lot of those boat trips are included.
That Swiss Travel Pass keeps getting better. I'm seeing why everyone raves about it. Okay, so we've explored the city, climbed a mountain, cruised along the lake. What about the food? Where should we eat in Lucerne?
Well, for a really authentic Lucerne experience, you should head to one of their traditional restaurants in the Old Town and try a dish called chugeli pastet. It's a puff pastry pie filled with veal, mushrooms, and this delicious white wine sauce. It's a local specialty, been enjoyed for centuries.
Oh, that sounds good. But I'm also craving some chocolate. Swiss chocolate is legendary. Where can we find the best in Lucerne?
Oh, you're in for a treat. Lucerne has a bunch of traditional chocolate shops where you can indulge in handmade truffles, pralines, chocolate bars. But here's an insider tip. Find Confiserie Bachmann. They're known for their super creative, delectable creations. Their chocolate is just divine.
Okay, Confiserie Bachmann, noted. Lucerne sounds absolutely magical, but I'm ready for the next adventure. What's next on our Swiss trip?
From Lucerne, we're venturing into the heart of the Bernese Oberland, a region famous for its majestic mountains, sparkling lakes, and those charming villages. We're headed to Interlaken.
Interlaken. I've seen pictures. It looks incredible. Days 5 and 6 in Interlaken. What's the plan?
Interlaken is all about adventure and those iconic alpine views. It's nestled between two lakes, Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, with the Jungfrau Massif as a backdrop.
Okay, that sounds epic. But let's start with the basics. Where should we stay in Interlaken without blowing our budget?
Interlaken can be a little pricey, but you can definitely find budget-friendly options. Think about staying in one of the smaller villages just outside of Interlaken, like Wilderswil or Unterseen. You'll find cozy guest houses, budget-friendly hotels there, and they all have easy access to Interlaken using public transport.
Smart. Okay, so we're settled in our cozy accommodation. What's first on our Interlaken to-do list?
A walk along the Hoheweg is a must. It's a promenade that stretches between the two lakes, and the views of the mountains are panoramic. Plus, it's free.
Can't wait to take in those views. Now, I've heard that visiting the Trümmelbach Falls is an unforgettable experience. What are they, and how do we get there?
The Trümmelbach Falls are actually a series of 10 glacier-fed waterfalls that thunder down inside a mountain. It's amazing. You can take a bus there from Interlaken, and the bus ride itself is really scenic.
Waterfalls inside a mountain. That's wild.
Huh.
Okay, we've got stunning views, powerful waterfalls. What else is there to do in Interlaken?
Well, this is where the adventure really starts. Interlaken is a hub for outdoor activities. Hiking, biking, kayaking, whitewater rafting. You can even go paragliding. There's really something for everyone, no matter your adrenaline level or budget.
Okay, let's talk about those budget-friendly adventures. What are some must-do activities that won't break the bank?
For a unique experience, take a boat trip across one of the lakes. You'll get amazing views of the mountains, the villages, and it's a lot more affordable than those expensive gondola rides.
All right, a scenic boat trip it is.
Mm,
Now, what about hiking? Are there any trails you'd recommend for someone who's not exactly an experienced hiker?
of course. The Harder Korm is a great option. It's a pretty easy hike, and the reward is panoramic views of Interlaken and all the surrounding peaks. You can take a funicular to the top if you prefer, but hiking is free and a good way to get some exercise in.
I love it. Now, let's talk food. After all that exploring and adventuring, we're going to need to refuel. Where should we be eating in Interlaken?
Interlaken has a ton of dining options, but if you want a budget-friendly and authentic Swiss experience, look for a traditional restaurant and try Uppler Magronen. It's a hearty pasta dish with potatoes, cheese, onions, often served with applesauce. It's simple, but so delicious, and it's perfect for a chilly evening in the mountains.
That sounds amazing. But I need my chocolate fix, too. Are there any chocolate shops in Interlaken we should check out?
Oh, absolutely. Interlaken has its fair share of chocolate shops, but for a really special experience, go to Liederach. They're known for their fresh, artisanal chocolate. You can even watch the chocolatiers making it.
I can practically smell the chocolate already. Okay, so we've explored Interlaken, tackled some hiking trails, seen those incredible waterfalls, and indulged in some delicious Swiss food. But our Swiss adventure isn't over yet. Where to next?
For our final stop, we're traveling to Bern, the capital of Switzerland. It's a city that blends history, culture, and modern charm so effortlessly.
Bern, the capital. I'm intrigued. What's in store for us on day 7 of our Swiss journey?
Bern is a city that sometimes gets overlooked, but it's a real gem. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and its medieval old town is just stunning. Picture cobblestone streets, sandstone buildings, charming fountains, all nestled within this loop of the Achar River.
Wow, it sounds like a place frozen in time. But how do we experience Bern on a budget? Where should we stay?
Well, instead of those pricey hotels in the Old Town, you could try staying in the Langas neighborhood. It's a lively student area, so there are lots of budget-friendly options there. Plus, it's just a quick walk or tram ride to the city center.
Perfect. So we've dropped off our bags. What's first on our Bern agenda?
You can't miss the Zeitlog. It's Bern's iconic clock tower. It's not just a timepiece, though. It's this medieval marvel with moving figures, a bell, and an astronomical clock. Every hour, the figures come to life and do a little play. It's quite a spectacle, and it's free to watch.
A free show. I'm there. I love how we're experiencing all this history and culture without spending a fortune. What else is a must-see in Bern?
For a dose of art and history, the Bern Historical Museum is a great place to go. They have this huge collection of artifacts from Bern's past. Medieval tapestries, ancient Roman mosaics, even a model of the city from the 18th century.
Okay, adding that to the list. Now, I've heard that Bern has a unique connection to Albert Einstein. Is that true?
It is. Bern is actually where Albert Einstein developed his theory of relativity. He was working as a patent clerk at the time. You can visit the Einstein House, which is now a museum, and learn all about his life and his groundbreaking work.
Wow, that's incredible. A city full of history, culture, and even scientific breakthroughs. Bern is full of surprises. Okay, we've explored the Old Town, admired the Zeitlog, delved into history at the Bern Historical Museum, and maybe even felt a little smarter at the Einstein House. What's next?
Well, you can't go to Bern without taking a stroll along the Aar River. There are some really beautiful bridges that give you these stunning views of the old town. You can even take a dip in the river on a warm day. It's a local tradition.
A refreshing dip in the river. That sounds like the perfect way to cool off and experience Bern like a local. Now, let's talk food. What are some Bernese specialties we should try? And of course, where can we find them without breaking the bank?
For a truly authentic Bernese culinary experience, you've got to try Berner Platt. It's a hearty dish with all sorts of smoked meats, sausages, sauerkraut, and potatoes. It's really a feast for the senses and a great way to sample a variety of local flavors. You can find it at a lot of traditional restaurants throughout the city.
Berner Platt, huh? That sounds like a challenge, but I'm up for it. Now, you know I can't resist a good chocolate shop. Any recommendations for satisfying our sweet tooth in Bern?
You're in luck. Bern has this fantastic chocolate shop called Laderack. They're famous for their fresh, handmade chocolate creations, and they have so many different flavors and styles to choose from.
I think I can hear my name calling from inside that chocolate shop already. Okay, so we've explored Bern, immersed ourselves in its history and culture, and even learned a little physics along the way. This 7-day Swiss adventure has been amazing. But as they say, all good things must come to an end.
It really has been quite a journey. We've explored bustling cities, charming towns, breathtaking mountain landscapes, all while staying within budget. Switzerland truly has something to offer everyone.
And we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to discover. Hidden hiking trails, local festivals, events. Switzerland is a country that just begs you to come back again and again.
Exactly. And remember, traveling on a budget doesn't mean you have to miss out on those incredible experiences. It just takes a bit of planning, a sense of adventure, and a willingness to embrace the local way of life.
So to our listeners out there dreaming of their first trip to Switzerland, what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, grab your Swiss travel pass, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure.
Safe travels. We hope you discover the magic of Switzerland for yourself.
And until next time, happy exploring.